Yeah, be nice. Okay. We have anybody else have a question for either one of these two candidates? Ann Backus and Kelly McCampbell. And since your last name starts with a B, you're going to go before Kelly McCampbell. So, hopefully, I'm going alphabetical order. Is that fine? Okay. You have a minute and a half, 2 minutes. By the time this thing's over, I will have figured out what I'm supposed to be doing. But anyway, okay. And you have 2 minutes.
I'm Ann Backus, running for the Tennessee State House District 33 as a Democrat. A lot of people ask me why I wear a mask inside. It's an example of how I live my values. All of my children are immunocompromised. One has MS. So I wear a mask to support them and other people with medical conditions. I've been living, working, and volunteering in this community for 45 years. I worked as a project and a program manager at Y12 for 33 years. While working, I supported my daughters as a Girl Scout leader, a band mom, a classroom volunteer, and a Sunday school teacher. I believe volunteering in my community is important. I'm especially interested in working with children and youth. Through my work serving as a court appointed special advocate, a CASA, and through my youth advisory roles and in my church. My volunteer work has showed me firsthand where systems fail our children and families. These experiences drive my policies and they strengthen my resolve to run for office to work for structural changes. I believe in defending and strengthening public education, ensuring affordable health care for all, and a society where we can all support our families. My job won't be to just make speeches, it will be to solve problems.
Next, we have Kelly McCampbell.
Hi, everyone. I am Kelly McCampbell. I work at Y12. I'm an engineer and I'm working there as a technical advisor. I'm a mom, and I'm running because I am tired of seeing working class people being told to wait their turn. I was born in East Tennessee. I lived out of state for a little while, and then I made a choice. I chose to come back and live here to raise my daughter in Oak Ridge and to put my future and my career in this district. And now I can't sit idle anymore watching people fall apart and be crushed under policies that are pushing prices up and wages down. Our leaders aren't legislating for Tennessee. They're carrying out a national agenda written by people like Stephen Miller that don't even live here and won't live with the consequences. Take the big, beautiful bill, for example. The state's majority party celebrates it as a big win, but it has been a crisis for Tennessee. Tennesseans lost their health insurance at 100,000 people just as a result, and another nearly 100,000 were kicked off of SNAP benefits. That's the program that helps parents feed their children. Now, the campaign that I'm running is built on one idea, that working families in this district have been losing ground for 20 years while people in power keep handing the microphone to corporations and special interests. I will end the state grocery tax by closing corporate loopholes. I will fight to lower prescription drug costs so insulin doesn't cost an arm and a leg, and I will defend our public schools against every voucher scam coming out of Nashville. We might only have one shot to preserve representative democracy in this district because we know that the state house races are on the chopping block in this next session. This may be the last time that any candidate that isn't far-right MAGA actually has a chance to win. So I'm humbly asking you for your vote this August to secure our state's future. Thank you.
Get the standard, they get their standard.
Well,
You
they
got
got
to
the
skip a
standard.
question again first.
They got a standard and then they got their stupid.
The standard question each of you got. You know what it is? She went first and you go first now. Okay, Kelly.
Got it. So, to paraphrase the question, if you're elected, what will you do to represent everyone equally? My answer to this is straightforward. Grocery prices and prescription costs and taxes hit every family, every working class person the same way in this district, whether they are on a rural country road or in one of our suburbs or cities. My job is not to pick favorites, it's to fight for policies that lower costs for everybody, whether they voted for me or not. Equal service means judging every bill with one question: does this help working families in my district? All of them, or does it help someone else at their expense? Now, to make sure that you serve everyone equally, you have to be able to hear everyone equally. So, to enable that, I will hold open office hours. I will make sure I attend town halls and public forums so that I can take input from the public on what their feelings are on bills and get the information out to them proactively so that people can know what's coming their way, what might affect them, and give their feedback on that without having to wait until after it's passed to know that it's going to impact them. These things, I believe, will help make sure that I take the info in and I will use that to consider every person's voice and work to serve everyone in an equal and fair way. Thank you.
And your turn.
I believe every person in this district is a constituent, whether they vote for me or not. Even if they can't vote for me, like a felon needing to get their voting rights restored. I will represent children and youth by ensuring they have a strong public school system and a safe place to grow up. I will represent undocumented immigrants and their families so that everyone can feel safe in our communities. When I am out canvassing, I occasionally run into someone who violently disagrees with me, usually because I'm a Democrat. For those where a conversation isn't possible, I say, thank you very much for your time, but if I get elected, I want you to call me if you have a problem. To stay in touch with my constituents, I will be attending the League of Women Voters like with the legislators and have routine times constituents can meet with me, both in Oak Ridge and in the county. I will be reading and answering emails and returning phone calls and texts. I will continue to engage with my volunteer activities when the House is not in session. This will allow me to be out in the community and hear what is happening in Anderson County. I want to represent everyone who lives here in Anderson County.
Thank both of you for good answers. Now, we have two questions now, one for each one, for
One question, they both answer.
the same question.
And then another question, they both answer.
I'm a bear. Bears are hard to train. He said that he's hard to train.
Come on, Backus. Come on, Backus. Be led.
Be led. Okay. Now, what is your position on green energy? It's your turn again to go first.
So I support green energy. I think we need to look at more options to make solar affordable. We need to continue to support TVA, so we have our hydropower, and continue to look at new opportunities other than our traditional coal burning plants.
So for me, clean energy, green energy is the way of the future. Oak Ridge is kind of leading the way in this area, right? We're bringing in new nuclear technology to help generate energy in a way that increases output, but also takes strain off of the environment. We don't need to stick with the old ways where we produce coal and environment polluting energy in a way that's ruining our natural landscape, which is one of our state's greatest assets. So for me, anything that we can do to incentivize a move toward green energy is a step in the right direction, not just for ourselves, but for the future generations that stand to inherit this state and all of its natural resources.
You candidates don't get mad at me because I'm just reading it. And I don't make the decisions as to what questions you get to answer. I want to make it clear up front. Okay, now we're going to start with Kelly McCampbell. She's going first this time. But this is the question. How can Tennessee address the influx of corporate PAC and dark money from national interest impacting our state's politics? I'll read that one again real quick. How can Tennessee address the influx of corporate PAC and dark money from national interest impacting our state's politics? You write the questions. Pete and Ella, they go through them. They give them to me. I read them, so don't blame me.
Well, Bear, I'm not offended by this question. I think it's actually a very valid question. We know that when this type of money comes into our politics, we, the people, lose our voices and our representation. This money usually comes in from national interests. It displaces the natural voice of the people that are being served, and so this is a very valid thing. Now, for me, Allie brought it up before earlier when she was up here. We have an example of a way that we can kind of counter this. Hawaii recently short-circuited Citizens United by saying, hey, we define what a corporation is, and if you're a corporation in this state, you cannot use money to politically lobby. You cannot contribute to candidacies here. I think that's a step in the right direction for our state. I think that's something we should be pushing for. I think ideally, if we could get to that point, having state-funded candidates and taking money, corporate money out of it completely, would even the playing field, make sure that every candidate, no matter their background, their income level, their education, their personal resources, that they could stand up if they had a way to serve their community and actually have a valid chance to win their office. So for me, this is a very valid question. First of all, we got to work on getting rid of Citizens United in the best way that we can, short circuit at the state level, and then try to even the playing field for candidates across the state.
There is too much money in our politics, thanks to the Supreme Court. They have allowed now our billionaires, our 7 or 8, 10 billionaires, to define who's going to get elected. In Tennessee, we need to pass some laws that say they can't do that. They can't come into Memphis and buy up warehouses and put AI centers and pay no taxes, but decide who gets elected. We need, I agree with Kelly, that we need publicly funded elections where we get a very small amount to go out and campaign. And that would eliminate a lot of the problems that we have in elections. Thank you.
And now, each one of you get a minute and a half for a closing statement. And since you, and no,
I did opening first.
you did, yeah, you go first with the,
I'll take it. Yeah, this is good. All right. So, in the last 2 years, working families have paid more for groceries. They've paid more for prescriptions. They've paid more for housing. They've paid more for everything that matters. And in those same 2 years, our state representative voted for a budget that expands private vouchers to drain public dollars away from our kids. Sorry about that. He voted for a budget that hands giveaways to corporations, while teachers in Clinton and Oak Ridge are having to buy classroom supplies out of their own pockets. He voted to compel our already underfunded county law enforcement to cooperate with federal government without allocating support for those extra duties, pulling the resources from the police work that keeps us safe day to day. He voted no on teacher pay, child nutrition, and pre-K, and then yes on the very budget that funded the voucher program that he claims to oppose. The incumbent represents this district as if his job is to keep the GOP happy. It isn't. District 33 does not need another bought and paid for rubber stamper ready to fall in line to execute national interests. It needs a fighter who will fight for local interests. I'm ready for that fight, and I'm asking you to be ready with me.
I spent 33 years at Y12 as a project and a program manager, working with diverse teams to achieve complex goals on time and under budget. This required listening to different perspectives, evaluating solutions, and finding practical compromises. That experience translates directly to public service and working across party lines. My work with CASA and other community organizations in Oak Ridge and Anderson County has shown me firsthand where systems sometimes fail our children and family. Seeing the struggles of families without health insurance or without a living wage strengthened my resolve to run for office and work towards structural changes. If you want someone who will take her experience living, working, and volunteering in Anderson County, I'm your candidate. If you want someone who appreciates diversity and who will protect disenfranchised communities, especially children and youth, I'm your candidate. If you want someone who lives her values every day and is the same person in public as her family and inner circle sees, I'm your candidate. If you want someone who is reliable and will show up to do the job every day, I'm your candidate. I'm Ann Backus. I have the time, capacity, and knowledge to deliver results for Anderson County. I'm asking for your vote in the August Democratic primary.
August the 6th
Yep.
is the it's the election